Very cool.
Hello and welcome. Good evening. So here we are today, hosting a webinar on Mary Anning, a pioneering fossil hunter and paleontologist. As you all know, this was scheduled to take place yesterday, but heavy thunderstorms and electrical issues prevented us from doing that. Today also we are having some network issues. Well, Shiny, can you just mute your audio because it's getting echoed? So today we have with us Dr. Sayoni Banerjee, one of the founding members of our initiative, Hello Prehistoric World. She is currently pursuing her postdoctoral research in paleontology at the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Kolkata. And we chose 21st May because it marked the 226th birth anniversary of Mary Anning. Well, because of Anjan Datta's song, Mary Ann is very popular among us, but not Mary Anning. But people are also aware of a famous tongue twister that reads, "She sells seashells by the seashore," and you will be you will get fascinated to learn that this is actually believed to be inspired by life and works of Mariani. So I will not talk too much today. So I will just hand over the mic to Shayoni. Shayoni, are you ready for your presentation? Sorry, your audio is still mute.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm just sharing the screen. So I'm starting the session as you know that it is about Mary Anning. So the first question is who was Mary Anning? If you randomly Google Mary Anning, the name of Mary Anning, you will find a lot of titles like Fossil Woman, Princess of Paleontology, Dinosaur Lady, the unsung hero of discovery, fossil discovery, the greatest fossilist we ever know, the forgotten fossil hunter, the woman who changed science forever, and like this. So just by going through the titles, you can understand that she is now recognized as a very pioneering figure in the subject paleontology. So just giving you a very brief introduction to the subject, that paleontology is a subject which is dedicated to understanding the ancient earth with the help of fossils. Now paleontology is a subject that I have studied in universities. I did my PhD and now I'm doing postdoc. But of course, in Mary's time, Mary was born in 1799 and she died in 1847. There was no subject called paleontology. And the that as you can see, she's also called dinosaur lady. The word dinosaur was first coined just few years ago. She died, and one of the most pioneering study on the evolution, on everything we most the things we know about our ancient art. That is Darwin's famous book on the origin of species was also published almost 10 years after her death. And most importantly, during Mary Anning's time, there was no provision for women to study in college, university, or even in school. Did not have any formal education. She there was nothing called paleontology, the subject during that time. Uh, Only in 1870, Elementary Education Act in Britain came. Before that, only few women, there were very few women who went to school. Mary, in fact, did not have formal education. Mary, in fact, only attended a Sunday school, I think, for yeah, the school which was associated with a religious organization that her parents were associated with. So, despite this, how she attained this cant that we are telling her as the princess of paleontology, the greatest fossilist we ever know, must be an interesting story. So, I'm going directly to that interesting story. And if we consider the first few years of her life, uh, I think one of the quote that I have encountered previously from one of my very favorite prose written by Virginia Woolf, that is, for most of history, Anonymous was a woman. When I will go in detail, you can understand that why this quote so much is appropriate for Mary Anning's life. As so now just see these two figures to understand why I'm saying that for most of the history, Anonymous was a woman. So as you can see in the left picture, there is a fossil which is labeled as sea lizard found by Mary Anning, and the right, just bottom right picture, you can see the name of a species is named is Ichthyosaurus. There is the name Regis, the name, the place where from where the fossil is recovered also written, but there is no mention of melody. So this was actually the first initial period of her life was on about. So you can understand that she was a person who used to go to she used to that I will discuss later, that she used to collect fossils, she used to send them, and all over, not she used to send them some to the tourists, and also at that time, although there was no subject called paleontology, a curiosity for the fossils were there. There were some geological societies where people in the museum, people in the universities have started studying fossils. So they used to buy from Mary, and they used to work with them. They used to publish with them, but with no recognition of the people who of Mary, who from whom they are getting that precious samples. It is so sad to see that Mary has written in a letter that the world has used me so unkindly. I fear it has made me suspicious of everyone. And one of her friend, in another letter, we found that this a dear friend of Mary wrote about her, that this man of learning has sucked her brains and made a great deal by publishing works of which she furnished the contents, while she derived none of the advantages. So this is a very a very quite down phase of her life where she was doing a very important job, but she was not at all recognized. But the entire story of her life was, of course, not sad. Uh, what we now, because Mary's time is almost 200 to 225, almost 225 years before present. So what we now know about Mary is mostly from letters. The letters she used to write to other colleagues, the letters she received from others, and by going through the letters, we can understand that her work was recognized during her time. You can see that people are saying that she understands more of the science than anyone else in this kingdom. In 1824, someone is saying that she has recently found the skeleton of an unknown species of that most rare and curious of all reptiles. And also that the moment she finds any bones, she knows to what tribe they belong. And it is known mainly from the letters, from the publications, that she had contact with almost every with many leading geologists of her time. Charles Lyell, that we know as the father of geology, had contacts with her, and many more. William Buckland was a very recognized geologist of that time. Roderick Murchison, Charlotte Murchison. And in one of a very interesting incident, Mary herself told that I am well known throughout the whole of Europe. So it is not an entirely sad story. She was celebrated in not our early phases, but in the last few years of her lifetime. As you can see from the picture, it is the left-hand picture. It is the only picture which is available from the time Mary was there. It is a painting which was done from Mary. This was done from Mary, and this is the picture. The picture next to the one they can find this. It is the only Mary's only known scientific publication. Here also, actually, a letter of Mary is published, where she is questioning the author of one publication, that this is not rightly identified, like that. And this figure you can show, you can see the left top, the right top right figure, where the Mary's fossil shop. She had built a house after she gained recognition. that time she had the fossil shop. This fossil shop was drawn at the picture of her fossil shop was drawn at 1842. And in the bottom most, you can see a picture which is very famous picture, Durna Antiquator. Those who know who are aware of the subject paleontology know that there is a new genre of thing coming as the paleo art. This is actually this is one of the earliest paleo art. At the time when sorry, at the time when Mary was in extreme financial crisis, at that time, one of our very dear friend, Henry Taylor Beckley, who was also a very big, a very famous, recognized geologist, she this picture and she sold it, and with the money but money, sorry, he got from the selling that picture, she gave that money to Mary. So, as I told that she was recognized during her lifetime at the later ages and thereafter, of course. She is a quite a very celebrated scientist. You can find stamps over her. There is the church that is beside her house as a Mary Anning's Corner of the Paleontological Association, which is a very reputed paleontological association with the awards. They gives an award called Mary Anning Award to somebody who is not an established, who is not professionally associated with paleontology but has made significant contributions. The museum that is where she used to live, Lyme Regis, there's a museum which is known as where Mary Innings lives. And in Lyme Regis museums, in many museums in Europe, not only in Europe, also in USA, her specimens are shown with due credits, most of the specimens. But of course, it is also true that in all her lifetime, all the fossils she collected gone to so many people. We do not know all the specimens. We do not know, but many of them, the significant ones, are now known that they are collected by Mary. Several species are now named after her, starting from very small snails to big reptiles. There are many species which are named after her. Sometimes the genus is named after her. Sometimes the species of that animal is named after her. Also, there are many films made on Mary. There are many books made on Mary, both fiction and non-fiction. And finally, 1865, you can see somebody wrote, it is not known who has written it, that the carpenter's daughter has won a name for herself and has deserved to win it. This is something, of course, very interesting that she was, in fact, a carpenter's daughter. Here, I will go to a little glimpse of her very early life, the struggle she had to do. One, because she was a woman. Another was because she belonged to a very lower income category people. Now, going to the early life of her, this is the place she used to live, Lyme Regis. This is a beautiful place in England, very close to the seashore. And the house she used to live is so close to the sea beach that they could hear the sound of the sea waves. And her father was a trained carpenter, but her father also had a passion of collecting shells and selling them. As you know that most of us have gone to the beaches. We have seen that how there are still some people who collect them and who collect seashells and they sell this type of things that they collect from the sea. So Mary's father was like that kind of a man, and he used to take both his son and his daughter Mary with him. Uh, so from that, Mary developed a passion. Both at one time she developed a passion, but she professionally took this work mostly by because she had to run her family. This is the only thing that she could have done. So this was a very risky job. Just to give you a very small geological background of the place that she belonged to. Here is a geologic time scale. Even people who are not aware of the geologic time scale, they know the word Jurassic because we have all watched the film Jurassic Park. So the Jurassic of the Jurassic Park actually is a name of the geological time period. So at this particular area where she used to live are the rocks which are exposed belongs to this age, this late Triassic to Jurassic. And what happens here that and waves come and the rocks fall and fossils get exposed. So it is a heavenly place for fossils. So Mary used to go to the work we she chose as a profession was very quite hard, that going into the field every day and collecting fossils. As you can see, and and the work she used to do every day. At one instance, her dog, a very pet, a very dear dog of her tray, the dog actually got killed in one of such days when he was where she was on her daily duty, and she saw the moment when her dog died. So she wrote on once that was a moment between me and the same fate. And so these are some of the fossils which Mary is credited with to discover. This is one of the fossil breeding star that is a kind of recent starfish type of animal. This is one of the most important discovery that she made. She and you can see that the skull of the ichthyosaur, which is the dolphin-like reptile. It was discovered by her brother Joseph in 1811. That is at a very tender age of 11, 12, and other parts of the neck was discovered by her in 1812. This is another interesting plesiosaur that she discovered, and you can see that the kind of work she was doing, actually, the same kind of work was done at that time by the scientists. That is getting the fossils, drawing them, describing them. All that she had no means of becoming a scientist. She was doing a work of a scientist. This is another that she discovered, pterosaur. This is the place she lived was a heaven for ammonites. Most Indians know ammonites by Chandram Shira. It is an extinct cephalopod kind of animal. And as you see that where she lived, it was a place full of ammonites, and somebody in 1837 described her as a princess of paleontology, Mary Anning, a strong, energetic spinster, canned and masculine in expression. This is something this is a very interesting that Mary had a very important contribution to that is known as the coprolites, the fossilized species, the Buckland, who first actually understood the coprolites, also noted the contribution of Miss Mary Anning in one of her publication. This is another kind of extinct cephalopod, benemnites, which had Mary had very important contribution to their study. And this is something very interesting that we can see in octopus. There is the octopus type of animals. There is a ink sac. So such ink sacs are also found within fossils. So she found some very interesting ink sacs. As you can see here, it is written that it's a part of Miss Marianne. And one of her friend, that is Elizabeth Finper, did something very interesting, that she discovered that if the ink sac is mixed with water, that ink can be used for drawing the fossil. So this is another example of something she discovered. Drew the figure of that animal, and she also used to describe them. So it actually shows how she became like a professional scientist. That's the same thing that professional scientists were doing, and there Mary is extremely celebrated. There is a statue of Mary. There are people who go to this place regularly. They have fossil hunt, like fossil trips. So this is a very interesting place right now. And just a very small glimpse into her personal life. What we know about her personal life is from very sparse documents. There's a very interesting document called Mary's Commonplace Books, where she used to write the things she read, some poetry she's reading there. So from reading that, we can slightly understand her as a person. That is, at the time she was known, she was feeling lonely. At the time from at the very mature stage of life, she became very religious. So those phases we can get a little glimpse of her that personal life. And this is something very interesting that I found in one of her commonplace book, that is 200 to 25 years ago. She is quoting from some unknown piece that is not yet known who has written it, but it is written that was she not made of the same and what is a woman? Was she not made of the same flesh and blood as the men? So this is this is a sad. Unfortunately, this is a relevant question right now also. So also she is what kind of partner a woman should be? A friend, his helpmate, or his pilgrimage? Not surely not his slave. So of course these are very revolutionary considering the time she lived. That's all. I would like to end this with a very interesting cartoon that I found that depicts some very interesting incidents of her life. That's all. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed it. That's all the other references that are used for making this presentation. That's all. Thank you.
So, thank you, Shayoni, for this comprehensive presentation that you have just delivered. So, the important thing about your presentation is that uh, you not only has dealt with the scientific achievements of Mary Anning, but you also dealt with
But I
the.
cannot hear you. Yes.
I think I have lost my internet connection right now. So yeah, so I think I'm visible now. I think I'm visible now. Am I audible? Hello. Well, I think the internet issues have again struck. Well, the what as I was saying that the important thing about his her presentation is that she not only dealt with the scientific accomplishments of Mary Anning, but also touched upon the very important subject of historical and social significance of Mary Anning's rise as a leading figure in the study of paleontology, because she lived at a time when, let alone scientific research, but formal education was inaccessible to most of the women. So, from that point of view, it's important that we celebrate Mary Anning today, know more about her work, and our initiative is aimed at focusing on these kinds of personalities. So thank you so much for today. We had some real hardships with the internet. So thank you. I think Shiny has lost her internet connection again. So here am I. I'm ending this video. See you in the next. Goodbye.